This is an analysis of To Autumn by John Keats. The poem is written by John Keats in 1819, and it's the last of Keats' 6 odes. The poem was published in 1820. The structure of the poem, it has 3 stanzas, each containing 11 lines. And I'll begin with a summary of the poem, and this is the first stanza. The first stanza addresses autumn, calling it the season of mists and mellow fruitfulness in line 1. The speaker describes autumn as a beautiful season where the late flowers bloom, as we can see down here. And furthermore, the intimacy between autumn and sun is described, close bosom friend of the maturing sun in line 2. And the stanza is very describing, and it paints a pretty picture of autumn as a season.
Yeah, and the second stanza, it addresses autumn as a woman, and she's described as a beautiful woman, which we can see in the 4th line of the second stanza. Thy hair soft lifted by the winnowing wind, and also that she smells beautiful like flowers, because it says drowsed with the fume of poppies, and poppies is a type of flower. And even though that she, Autumn, knows that she is, or her time is almost over because winter is coming, she has accepted it or made peace with her mortality and inevitable death. And you can see that in line 10 and 11 of the second stanza, because it says, with a patient look thou watchest the last oozings hours by hours.
In the first stanza, the writer asks a rhetorical question in the first line. Where are the songs of spring? Where are they? By this question, he tells autumn to forget the songs of spring and start listening to its own songs. He describes the clouds as soft, and they go down to the ground, which is filled with the main stubbles left after reaping. And the rest of the stanza describes how the winds push the river shallows here. It tells about the full-grown lambs, hedge crickets, and the red-breast voices. Together they create autumn's own symphony.
I want to talk about the rhythm. Each stanza is roughly divided into 2 parts. The first part of each stanza is the first 4 lines, and the second part is the last 7 lines. The first 4 lines in each stanza has an A-B rhyme, and the second part in each stanza, the 7 lines, has the rhyme scheme varies in those lines. And the meter in the poem is an iambic pentameter, which means that an unstressed syllable is followed by a stressed syllable, and the pentameter means that there are 5 of these sets of the syllable and the unstressed syllable, also called feet. And I want to show this on one line. First we have an unstressed syllable and a stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed. They. So it says, where are the songs of spring? Where are they? And as we can see, we have 5. Of these feet.
Autumn, it symbolizes the life of a person, because it symbolizes how important it is to seize the moment and appreciate your life, even though you know that you're dying. And we can see that, like Ida talked about, that she is looking back towards spring, but then the poem tells her, think not of them, thou hast thy music too, like that autumn has her own music too, and she should be appreciating that instead of thinking about other things. And autumn is also the last season before, and it's where the leaves, they begin to crumble and die, and then winter begins. So autumn still has to live a life and make happy music, where there's referred to the music here, and so pretty much like Bob Marley said, be happy and then appreciate life, and even in your last days, and then make peace with mortality and come to terms with it.
We can see it's an old poem by some of the words. We see thee, which means you, thou, which also means you, and thy, which is your. Look at the rhetorical adjectives, the alliteration. We see in the first line mist and mellow, and in the third stanza we see full grown, from, lambs, loud, need, and wrong. The assonants, the first one, and sometimes like a gleaner, thou dost keep, glee and keep, and touch the stubble planes with those you. We had ta in touch and sta in stubble.
The themes we deal with are questions around mortality and the inevitable death. How can we enjoy life when we're going to die anyway? And Keats, he talks about coming to peace with mortality and enjoy life in the moment. And we can see that from this line here: where are the songs of spring? I, where are they? Think not of them, though thou hast thy music too. And again, like we talked about earlier, it's not about living in the moment and enjoying your life. And other themes are like transformation, because we're going from autumn into winter, and time, and then man and the natural world. The mood is mainly positive, which we can see with the use of the words such as sweet and warm and summer in the first stanza. And then in the second stanza we have the word poppies, which means flowers, and that's also a positive word. And but underneath the surface we feel the serious tension about the knowledge of the inevitable death. And but then in the end of the poem we do not have this tension towards the inevitable death, and the mood is peaceful due to the peace autumn makes with mortality and inevitable death. And this we can see due to the words, the peaceful words such as soft and whistles, and positive words as rosy. Yeah?
The romantic elements in the poem, the writer uses the most common romantic element, nature, to describe his view and feelings. He speaks of the beauty of life, and instead of focusing on others' beauty, he concentrates on autumn's own beauty. So as we know, in the romantic age, one should look inside for beauty.
Ja, og jeg vil lige komme med et resumé på dansk. Fortælleren henvender sig til efterår, som hvis det var en person gennem hele digtet. Altså, fortælleren personificerer efterår, som var den person. I første strofe beskrives det, hvordan solen og efterår er bedste venner, og at det er efteråret, der får de sene blomster til at blomstre. Der fortælles, hvordan bier tror, at sommer varer for evigt, men fortælleren ved bedre. I den anden strofe iscenesættes efterår som en smuk og duftende kvinde, der godt ved, at hendes tid er ved at være over, da vinteren er på vej. Hun har accepteret det og er tilfreds. I den tredje og sidste strofe tænker fortælleren tilbage på forårets musik, men fortæller, at efterårets egen musik også er god. Alle forårets elementer, der laver musik, beskrives i tredje strofe.